Hey everybody, welcome. My name is Kelly.
And I'm Debbie.
Welcome to Debbie and Kelly Live.
Oh, this
Debbie,
is so nice.
we're gonna have some fun. Do you want to tell them what's coming?
Yes, we have our good friend Todd Hart joining us tonight. And Todd, he is a great guy. And I've always known him like long distance through yoga. I've always heard his name. Of course, we were on the East Coast for a while working for Baron Baptiste, and Todd lives on the East Coast. And his name would come up. And sometimes I would get messages from him. And once we were in a Whole Foods, and Kelly and I were shopping for a yoga program that we were at. And all of a sudden I hear, Debbie Williamson. Debbie Williamson. And I look and it's Todd Hart. And from that day, that's when we really built a relationship. And he's the one that got me involved with doTERRA, which changed my life. And I know his life has been changed dramatically. And ever since that day, I feel like Todd has been my brother.
Same. Todd is family the second you know him, and he is here on earth with a message to help others. Just an amazing, amazing human being. So we were super excited when he said he would come and chat with us. He'll tell you a little bit more about himself and also the message that he wants to share with you. These are tools that you can use every day, and you can use them right now without needing anything extra. Todd's going to fill you in. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Todd Hart.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, hi, Todd.
The whole time you're introducing me, I'm like, and he's a stalker of people at Whole Foods.
He waits. He lies in wait.
Yes, yes. Oh my goodness, too funny.
Well, we are so thrilled that you're here. Do you mind just sharing a little bit of your story? So the title of this show is "Living an Untethered Life," and we'll get to that. But how did you get to the place where you felt like you really wanted to share the message that you're going to share today?
So quick background on me. I'm married. I have a 23, I think, year old daughter now, who lives in LA. I'm in Boston. She's in LA. She just graduated from Loyola Marymount University, and she's a writer, so she's going to be in the industry out there. And I, about 6 years ago, got introduced to doTERRA, as Deb was mentioning, and I wanted nothing to do with network marketing. I wanted nothing to do with the business, but it had such a profound effect on my health that I started to share it with people. And over the course of 2 years of me sharing it with people, I built up a team of 1,200 people in 6 countries. I reached the rank of platinum, which averaged about 125,000 a year. And I fell in love. And I was very passionate about it. So I decided at some point along the way that I loved doTERRA. I wanted to do it full time. And I left my job in January of 2016. And I gave them an open notice. And I said, I'll stay as long as you want me to stay. And they kept me on until the end of March. And from March of 16 till now, I've been doing doTERRA full time. So it was last year at convention, Emily Wright, who's one of the owners of doTERRA, was talking about a trip to Bulgaria for the Rose Festival. And you had to be one of the top 200 people in the company to get this prize. And I really wanted it. And so, bless you. And so I sat through convention, and it was in September 2019, and I'm like, okay, top 200, I can do that. So when I got home, I checked where I was in this contest, and it was 800 plus. That's as high as it went, 800. I was 800 plus, so I had no idea what I was. So I decided I want to go for it, and we were 7 months in to this I don't know if I want to call it a contest, but qualification. And I had 5 months left to go from 800 plus to top 200 to hit what I wanted, my goal, my dream, to go to on this trip. And so I applied law of attraction principles. I set my intention. I stayed focused on it, and I only stayed focused on it. I did not let myself ever get distracted by anything. And in about 3.5, 4 months, I hit top 200. And by the time it finished, I was 147. But the story gets better. Here's where it gets really cool. Here's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about flow state. I want to talk about being connected. So just yesterday, I had a conversation with somebody, and that led me in my head. Something in my head was telling me a little, I call it prompting, a little prompting. Wouldn't it be cool if I knew what my number was in September of last year? I keep saying 800 plus. I never really knew. So I sent a letter or an email to my account rep at doTERRA, and I'm like, hey, you might not know this, but if you could research it, what was my actual number? Because I only know 800 plus. So I sent the email, and for about an hour, I'm in my house, and I'm like, it'd be really cool if I was 1,450. That would be really cool, because then I could say I was top 1,500. I got to top 150 in 4 months. So I get an email back. Remember, 1450. That's what I'm saying in my head. He goes, you were at the end of September, you were 1,437. And I'm like,
oh my God.
And I was like, that's flow state. That's connected. That is like, you just know, you know. So I just thought that was cool. I think that is what flow state is. That's what life should be. And that's what law of attraction is all about.
Well, that's great. And for those of you who are tuned in who may not know, or those who will watch the replay, doTERRA is an essential oils company, and they do a lot of good in the world. And Debbie and Todd and I have been connected through that company, and that has been fantastic. But now Todd's message has been expanding, and partially it's because you were invited to speak for a large group of people, yes?
Yeah, so the vice president of sales, Russell Butters at doTERRA, he was kind of following my journey where I was 1,400 and something. Maybe he knew I was that high number. And I told him I'm going to get top 200. So we would text each week. He was like, I see you moving up the number. I see you moving up. I see you moving up. And when the contest was over, he's like, you have to speak at our leadership event. You have to tell this story. And I was like, okay, what do you want me to talk about? He's like, whatever you want to talk about. I'm like, well, I've got to talk about law of attraction. I'm like, how much time do I have on stage? He's like, you got 20 minutes. Now, if you've ever spoken on stage, 20 minutes is a long time. That's like, you can fit a lot in, especially when you're from New England and you talk really fast. You could be like, blah, blah, blah. So COVID hit the day before we were going to all fly to Phoenix. They told us, nope, it's canceled because of COVID. So it ended up moving online, and it ended up, I had to broadcast from my home, kind of like what we're doing now. Mm-hmm. It went into 90 countries, translated into 5 languages, and I was inundated with people from around the world saying, oh my God, I love this. This is great. This is so good.
Well, and I love what he talked about with the flow state, because there's a lot of times where, like good things are happening, and I feel like, I'm able to like almost predict them, or, okay, now this is going to happen, or I put it out there and you know me, I make a statement and all of a sudden that's the path we're on. And a lot of times you're like, don't say it out loud.
Debbie, have you always done that? Has that been something that you noticed this pattern that when you state something, and like Todd said this, a similar thing, that he states something and then he it's laser focus. He sticks with it.
Well, I always feel like if you can write down your goals, but they kind of sit on the pad, but if you say it out loud, then like your life conspires to give it to you. And what I mean by that is you say it out loud and all of a sudden like your choices start to line up in that direction. And then even the people who hear it, it's like everyone comes together to get you what, you just declared. Like, I'm going to write a book. And then, people would start asking, well, how's the book coming? Are you writing? And you would say, well, is there anything I can edit for you right now? And it's like, it just took a life on its own. And okay, I've got a book written. And I've always found that if you say something out loud, the universe gives it to you. And it's because everybody's working together.
I wanted to talk a little bit about sort of what you said. I mean, Todd set an example with his, here he is. See.
Is that better?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
So before I get lost again, here's what I want to talk about. If I may. So
you may.
The whole thing with law of attraction is you set an intention, and then if you stay focused on that intention and you're connected, all of a sudden, now whatever your belief system is, your soul, your inner being will start vibrating at the energy of whatever it is that you want. And then God, the universe, will respond, and all of a sudden, all of these cooperative components are going on, and you're getting phone calls, and you're getting little promptings like, go do this, go do that. And that's fine. But the example that I'll give you is the time that you're connected the most is when you're driving down the highway. Mm. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm looking at Kelly's face to see if there's like an indication of, we're losing him again. All right, so when you're driving down the highway and you're connected, And you know, the example is, you know, someone's going to cut you off. You know, that car in front of you is going to, you like, I know they're going to do, I know they're going to. So you slow down, and then they cut in front of you. And at that moment, you have a choice. You can be thankful that you knew that was going to happen. But most of us, especially from New England, do the, hey, you cut me off, what are you doing? And you start yelling and screaming, and I can't believe you did that. The whole world is ending. And when you do that, this that you had connected, you cut it off. And that you can no longer hear it, you're gone from it, and you're just kind of stuck down here in low vibration, and you cut yourself off from all of that power, all of that knowledge, and that's it. That's where people get stuck. And I think most people understand it. But then as soon as they say, I want this, they quickly are like, well, look what Trump did. Look what, and I'll stay politically correct and neutral. Look what Biden did. Look at this. Look at that. Can you believe they're doing that? And they get involved, and they push against things, and they stick their nose into things where they shouldn't stick their nose into. And their vibration goes down, down, down. And that connection that they had is severed, and it's gone. And all of the power that they had in the palm of their hands that creates worlds just like vanishes. And then they're like, I don't know what happened. It's their fault. It's Deb's fault. It's Kelly's fault. It's not my fault. I didn't do anything wrong. It's their fault. And if they could just maintain that connection, that's the thing that I teach in my course, is maintaining that connection. That's the most important part. And if you can master that, it's like losing weight. It takes daily things. It's like getting in shape, daily things you have to do. Practicing the law of attraction is daily practice. And it's mindset, it's meditation, it's being aware of your emotions in any given moment. And your emotions will always tell you if you're connected or not. If you're happy and blissful, you're connected. Things are flying, things are happening in your life. When you're feeling depressed, you're feeling angry, low vibration emotions, you're cut off. And if you can take a minute and stop and take an assessment, I call it pattern interrupt. If you can stop and walk away, go dance, go listen to music, go do something, walk the dog, break that pattern that you have going on and reconnect. And anytime you're connected, you won't have those negative emotions. So it's kind of your GPS to say, hey, you're cut off, like, you know, anytime you're feeling negative. And you only feel that if you have awareness. And you only get awareness through practicing mindfulness, meditation, because most of us are so caught up in our head and flying and just distracted by everything that we're not really paying attention to how we feel until we crash. And then we're like, oops, I think something's wrong. So that's what I teach. That's what my course is all about.
I love it. And you mentioned gratitude, and I really feel like being connected to that flow is when you're in that moment of gratitude. As soon as you're not feeling that or gratitude's not present, that's the disconnect.
Yeah. And let's face it, gratitude is awareness, right? Because without awareness, you wouldn't even be aware if something magical is happening. And I told a story yesterday. I was doing a recording, and I mentioned this, that I was today's Melanie's birthday, and I was buying her a balloon at the party store. And there was a little girl in front of me, and she was buying 2 packs of candy. And I was 6 feet back. I have my mask on. I'm practicing social distance. And I can hear the lady saying, oh, it's $1.20. And the girl just keeps putting the dollar on the counter, and she's 20 cents short. And I was like, immediately in my head, I'm like, I've got it. And I'm like, it's like a voice in my, like, coming out, like, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it. So I went up to the little girl and I said, you take the dollar, you take the candy. I'm going to pay for this. This is my gift to you. But what I want you to do is I want you to do something nice for someone else today. Do you understand that? She was really small. She's like, I understand. Thank you. And then I look at the cashier and she's got like a little tear coming out of her eyes. Like, this is so sweet. And then her dad is like got all this stuff in his hands. He's waiting by the door and he's like, thank you so much. So why I'm telling that story is that I was a cooperative component. And I believe that when you get that little prompting of smile at that person, pay for that person's coffee behind you in line, when you do that, you strengthen that little voice inside you. You strengthen that connection to God, the universe, whatever you believe. It doesn't matter. Again, it's like law. I talked about this before we went on. It's like law of the, what was I say? Law of when you fall off a building. What is that called? Law of gravity. Gravity. Like you can say, I don't believe in gravity, but if you walk off a building, you're going to fall to the ground. So law of attraction is real. And whatever you have in your life right now, you have created and you have brought into your life and attracted into your life. So it's real. And I really encourage people to learn it because it's affecting your life. And especially if you're not happy with your life and you're feeling cut off and you're feeling those negative things and you're pushing against this and pushing against that and this is wrong and that's wrong and you're just angry all the time, I encourage you to learn these techniques because happiness is right there for you. It's right there in your grasp, and you don't need all this crazy stuff. It just is really little simple practices that you can incorporate each day and get there.
That's great. I'm going to pull up some of the stuff that you sent us before we decided to get together, Todd. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned this first one a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll just
that's a Bill Belichick, right? Know your role. If you're a football fan, know your role. And it really, you have a role to play when, if again, God, universe, I use them interchangeably, inner being, soul. Like when you say you want something, all of this stuff in the universe is coming together and working and happening and tapping on people's shoulders and doing all this stuff. And you're the one that's like turning your back on it and being like, I'm going to focus on this stupid thing over here. Not that it's stupid, but something that isn't what you want. And you're the one that's no longer cooperating. So you're like separating yourself from that, and it's on you. It really is on you. And your role is to stay connected and to stay focused. And you can create so much in this world. And I love the quote Mother Teresa used to say, don't invite me to an anti-war rally. I won't come. But invite me to a peace rally, and I'll be there.
Oh, that's great.
So,
I can't believe I hadn't heard that. I love that.
Anti-war rally, pushing against something. She didn't believe in pushing against something. Peace rally, she's all for it. Because peace rally is up here. It's connected. She can stay connected to that. And I just love that. And I think that explains law of attraction right there. And
with law of attraction, a lot of people think they can just say it and there's no work to be done. But there is work, right? There is practice. These tools that you have, like, we have to be engaged.
Yes, you have to stay connected. And if you're disconnected, you're going to feel it. Anytime you're feeling a negative emotion, I guarantee you, if you stop and you're honest with yourself, you're focused on something that is either the opposite of what you want. You're focused on the lack of money. You're focused on, again, Trump or Biden. I'll keep it politically neutral. You're focused on one of them that you don't like. You're focused on something that you don't. I have to wear a mask. I don't want to wear it. Whatever it is, whatever you believe. You're focused on something negative, and that's when you're disconnected from it. So learning to meditate, learning mindfulness, gratitude, all of that really is all teaching you is awareness so that you know when you're disconnected and you know to pivot and get back to connecting. And it's not like I do it all the time. I try to spend most of my day connected. I'm human. I still have my moments. But I'm at the point now where I'm so sensitive, I'll go onto Facebook and I'll look at 2 posts. And then I'm like, oh, no, and I'm gone. Here. I'm gone. I'm like, nope, it's pulling me. I'm here and I'm like, and I'm like, nope, I'm done. Bye. And I'm that sensitive now that I'll quickly correct myself. And like, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it.
It sounds like something that you've gotten really good at is recognizing the contrast between what you want and what you don't want, and what you want to see in the world and what you don't want to see in the world. And you're responding to that and going back to the things that bring you into flow.
Yeah. And we all, the thing is, there's always going to be contrast in the world. There's always going to be, what do I want now? And you're always going to be reaching for something. Life isn't all about achieving, because you can't constantly achieve. It's the path to achievement. And that's where you spend the bulk of your life. And that's where happiness is. When you're connected and you're on your way to that path, that's where true happiness lies. And it's not really in the achieving. It's just staying connected. Because when you're connected, your heart is bursting. You feel love. You feel ecstasy. It's pretty cool. It really is pretty cool.
Debbie, you have a great story about that, sort of a metaphor for connection and choices and different choices about the river. Do you mind sharing that?
Yeah, I always look at like whatever I want to achieve, like the big goal or whatever it is I set out to do. And really it's not the end result that I'm really looking for. It's like, this is where I want to go. And I always think of standing at the river where you can't see a path across the river. So I see the other side. I know I want to get to the other side with whatever I'm creating, but I don't have the tools to get there. And a lot of times I would just stand there and think, this is what I want to do. And my father would always say, well, you've got to, shit or get off the pot. You've got to take some action. And what I mean by that is we don't have to see the path right away, is you look for the first rock. So, standing at the edge of the river, you see, oh, there's a rock over here. I'm going to stand over there. And once I get to that rock, the whole landscape looks different. So I've made this choice. I've taken a risk or a step, and I get there, and now I see two more rocks, the ones that I didn't see from the shore. And this is usually how I get myself across to those goals, because I'm a big achiever. Like, I'm a big cross it off the box. What's next? What am I going to create? What am I going to do next? And part of it is those baby steps. It's not about that big leap across anything. It's this baby step leads to the next one. And then finally, I've got all these things, all these tools and all these strengths just from taking that one risk.
And the thing about you as well is you're staying connected. You have your eye on the prize, and you're not being distracted. I know you well. You're not distracted by the noise around you. And that's where a lot of people get caught up, is we're so conditioned to feel like we have to say something or do something or get caught up in the conversation. I don't think you're like that. I think you can be like, no, I'm just going to stay over here and focus on this. And you don't get dragged down and pulled down. I think a lot of people want to run a race, and they're at the starting block, and they see the path, they see the finish line, but they just keep their head down and they just focus on the starting block, and they never leave the starting block, and they just keep focusing on the starting block. It's like, no. Put your head up and go. Like, it's there. The lines are there. The finish line is there. You heard the gun go off, and they're just complaining about the starting block and their shoes and all this other stuff, and they're just stuck, tethered in place. And that's just, and I don't, and Deb, you're not that kind of person. You just don't do that. You don't do that. I never hear you complain about anything.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of complaints. I really don't.
No, she's joyful person. But I think there's something powerful about that too, in that Debbie is always one to take that first step into action, and action often is equivocal to flow. If you step towards what you want, even if you're not entirely sure, I think it strengthens your belief muscles. That gets stronger if you take a step towards, and then you start to see it more clearly. Even if you take a step in a completely opposite direction, or you don't know what the step is, trusting that moving or taking some sort of step can bring you closer.
And the path really does reveal itself. It really does when you stay. And I don't know if you've ever been like in the true flow where things are just coming at you, and you're getting phone calls and emails, and the right people come into your life, and you're like, this is really cool. And when it's working, it's so powerful. It's really powerful.
Absolutely. Let's look at this next slide. Some of these other things. You've talked a little bit about this. I love your pattern interrupt, Todd. I think this is an important one because, like you said, some of us are staring at the starting block, and that's not where we want to be. What tools do you use to interrupt? What do you use? This
is me because I'm a dad, and I have a daughter who is across the country. And anytime I don't think she'll mind me sharing this, but anytime she would call me, if she's having a bad day, and the first thing and she's 3 hours behind me, so she might call me at 1 o'clock in the morning and totally forget, hey, Dad's in bed sleeping. So I get up and I'm like, okay, where are you right now? I'm like, just stop. Where are you? She might be crying. Where are you? I'm in bed. The light's on? No, the room is dark. I'm like, okay, cool. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get our sneakers on and put our clothes on, and we're gonna whatever, get clothes so you can go outside, and we're gonna go for a walk together. And we would go for a walk. And I'm like, okay, are you outside with me? Are we walking together? Yes. Okay. Now tell me what's going on. Mm-hmm. Oh, well, I'm kind of feeling a little bit better now. I'm like, well, great. Well, let's talk about it. And you're interrupting that just focus on something negative. And if you can take that focus off there just for a second, you're automatically drawn towards, again, up here, the positive, the higher vibration things. And if you can break someone's focus just for a second, it's enough to get them to refocus and realize, well, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And that's my pattern interrupt.
I love that. Debbie, you're very, very good at that as well. You're a coach. You coach different people, and that's something that you do. Are there specific tools that you use that are sort of
the bouncy? Similar? You jumping up and down on the bouncy.
I know. I love the rebounder. Yeah. That's a tool for creativity. But a lot of times, you also have, be mindful of emotions. So I'll ask people, well, what do how do you feel right now? How are you feeling in your body? What kind of sensations are you having? And I bring them into, just kind of tell me what's going on. And now they're in a flow of, not focused on the terrible thing that's happened, or, whatever they want to complain about. I'll say, well, how are you feeling? What's happening? Versus what the point of complaint is, getting them into describing something else. Well, are you still upset about it? And a lot of times if they pause and wait for a minute, well, no, I was then. And well, what about right now? Are you angry now? No, I'm kind of happy. I'm talking to you right now. Okay. So what else can we talk about?
That's great. I love that.
And I think teaching people that it's not me, it's not Deb, it's you can do this too. You don't need someone else to help you with it. You can really distract yourself from it and interrupt it by listening to music or just stepping away from it for a second, and your mood will change.
Yeah, we all came together because of doTERRA, but essential oils help me.
Yes.
I pick, and it doesn't have to be an essential oil, but any smell that you love that brings you to a memory that's pleasant.
Chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. but our olfactory system helps to shift the brain chemistry. So there's something physical that is happening that allows you to stop and refocus. But yeah, chocolate will do it. My dog, who is over here snoring, will do it.
and I think one of the things too in life is not take it so seriously. I know that's a hard thing for people to hear, especially with all of the stuff going on in the world right now. But you have to play. And you have to have a playful heart. And I know you both like to play. I know that about you both. We like to have fun. And it just brings you joy, and it just raises up your vibration. It keeps you connected. And you just, I don't know, you take more inspired action. You really do.
I love that. And Todd, when you say only take inspired action, what is that discernment? What do you mean by that for the listeners?
So here's my analogy. If you're struggling with something and you're having a negative emotion, you're depressed, you're angry, you're frustrated, but you're like, I'm gonna work through it. I'm gonna work through it. I equate that with a dog chasing his tail. A lot of hard work and effort goes into it, but in the end, nothing gets accomplished. So if you were to stop and walk away, get into a better mood, get into a higher vibration where you're reconnecting to your higher self, your inner being, universe, then you're inspired. And then you're being led. You're not forcing it. You're being led. It's calling to you. And that is the action you want to take. You could work a half hour a day and get more done from inspiration than you could 8 hours of just banging your head against the thing. I'm going to do it. I don't care. You're wasting your time. You really are. And you get so much more done because it could just be this little thing that you do that you're inspired to do, and it has these ramifications that just echo and go across the globe. It's really cool.
That's so great. Debbie, is there anything, actually, to both of you, is there anything that either of you would like to share with our listeners before we close? We're coming to the end of the show. It went like this. I want to pop this up on screen so that all of you have a chance to take a look at this. Todd does have a course available now. It's all new, and it's really teaching you these tools to stay in this flow state, and he'll tell you a little bit more about it. But anything else that either of you want to say in closing before Todd gives us a little nugget on the course?
Well, I do think, it's these courses that, we offer and that we take, they're always good reminders. Like I'm an avid studier and voracious reader. And I think anytime we can plug ourselves in, that's when we get the rewards. It's anytime I sign up for a training or, I listen to a podcast or, I take a course online, it's amazing how everything comes to me, anything I've dreamt of or what I wanted to achieve. I've got so many ideas and so much inspiration. And I just think, now in these times, it's so easy to get hooked on, what's the next series I should binge? Well, how about binging something different?
Yeah. Great point.
And you, Todd, if there was one thing you could say to the people who are watching now or the people who will catch this on the replay, what do you think is the most important nugget for them to take if they want to take this into their lives right now?
I was going to echo what Deb says about studying. I spend probably several hours a week studying law of attraction. And one of the reasons I wanted to do it is there are a lot of teachers out there that are kind of, they're sort of, out there a little bit. And I think that a lot of people struggle with understanding it, or maybe they're kind of weird. I don't really understand what they're talking about. So I try to take that and distill it down into the every person that can understand it. And that's why I try to be very careful with my language when I talk about soul, inner being, God, universe. I don't want to get caught up in the dogma. Because this is accessible to everybody, and I want it to be accessible to everybody. And I really poured so much love into this course. And I really, and Kelly, you and I spoke about this, I really feel like I'm being divinely led. Little things along the path that have gone on, just are oh, okay, I'm being a little, a little nudge here. And we talked about a little bit of that, but I really feel inspired. This whole thing is being inspired, and I'm okay, I'm just going to go with the flow and see where it leads me and see what happens. But I love the course, and I feel like I didn't write the course. It came through me, and I just was a conduit, and it flowed through me, and I put it out there. And so, I don't know. It's fun. It's exciting.
Well, I'll tell you, anytime we hang with you, Todd, or, we get on the phone with you, and speaking for myself and Kelly, we are always lit up and inspired and ready to go.
I feel the same about you two. I love our energy together. We should bottle it and sell it.
We should do some choreography on the next show.
Interpretive dance.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. And Todd, thank you so much for agreeing to jump on and chat with us. Please check out gotoddhart.com and check out the course. We have a short message for you before the show ends, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Oh, can I say one thing before you end it?
You can.
So if they go to that page, they can actually put their name and email in, and they can download my leadership talk that I did for doTERRA, and it's for free. And they can watch it. It's about 20 minutes long, and I really do share all of my little secrets in there. So you can go check that out, and you're going to get a really good, you'll hear the story. It's a really good story, and then you're going to get some really good nuggets in there as well.
Excellent. And that will also, then you can get more of a sense of Todd and decide if you're ready to dive in right now. And we hope that you are, because he's a great resource and role model and inspiration.
And he will stalk you at Whole Foods. Let's not forget that. Very important.
He will. So just beware. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks, Todd. It was great talking to you.
Bye, ladies. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly Lynn.
And I'm Debbie.
And we want you on our show. We'd love to hear more about what you're doing in life that influences others in a positive way or inspires others, as well as any tools you might have to share.
All you have to do is email me, Debbie@wildkauai.com.
We hope to hear from you.